I am always happy to help.
Yeah. So we've got from faculty Casey Geller from gerontology also doing
Oh,
this, and
cool.
Jessica Russell. Was she in your same cohort for this, or?
I don't know.
Okay, I've never met her, so I don't know.
I don't know. We didn't really have that much contact with each other because
Okay, it was
we
all
worked with the instructor, with the
yeah, the IT.
ATS people, and that was it.
Alright, oh, good. Well,
So,
yeah, we were sitting in a ATI steering committee, and Shauna was like, "Yeah, we need a marketing video for this," and I'm sitting across from her, and she goes, "Oh, Robert, oh, you can do that." It was like, "Thanks."
that's why you never sit across from the boss. That's why you hide in the
Maybe
corner,
I shouldn't be
Robert.
in those meetings. Maybe Marissa and I should just hide from now on.
That's what I learned after 10 years in this place.
Just
You keep quiet in your corner. You say hi when you want to.
Okay, we are
ready to
ready.
go.
And so when you answer the questions, just look in, right
So
there.
don't look at Robert, look at the camera.
Please.
Cool.
Um, just for the sake of this, what we're doing is essentially narrated by the people that have gone through the program or the leads of it. My voice won't be in anything. So
Okay.
if you're framing things, just kind of think generally.
And also, I assume, kind of repeat your question in the answer.
That would be great.
I'm a journalist.
Yeah. I knew you'd be great at that. Could you state your name and title?
My name is Danny Paskin. I'm an associate professor of journalism and public relations.
Great, thank you. How comfortable were you with developing accessible content prior to going through this program?
I thought I was very comfortable developing accessible content to my courses until I actually went through this program. And then I realized there were a lot of things that I didn't actually know about it.
Can you describe the structure of the program?
What do you mean by structure?
Um,
Oh,
what you
how
had to
it
do
was.
as a faculty member?
Give me 3 seconds to
No,
think.
absolutely. Take your time.
As a faculty member, as part of the program, we had to think about different ways of making your course more accessible, ways that usually you don't really think about. So they teach you different tricks, different tools, different technology that you're supposed to use to make the course more accessible. Many times using programs that you're actually really used to, just not in the way that they show you how you should.
Great. And based on what you're talking about there and all those tips and tricks, how has that new information influenced your current course design?
Okay. Since I went through the program, nowadays when I actually prepare my courses, when I actually plan my courses, I actually not only stop to think ahead of time of what I'm supposed to be doing, what, for example, the content that I'm developing, how that's going to be accessible, or how that's going to have to be made accessible, but also in terms of getting the content already in that structure. So I make my life easier from the beginning by having that already planned. So the tools that I learned from this program actually allowed me to think ahead in terms of what am I going to have to do, how much work is this going to be, or how can I make my life easier.
Great, thank you. Can you name a practical example of something you're doing now for your courses?
Okay. So one example of something that I'm doing now that I did not used to do, I do like many of us do, I do use PowerPoints quite often in my classes. I always prepare my PowerPoints to make them really cool and really fun and really interesting for all the students, but I never actually stop to think about the accessible part of it. For those students that can't see all those jumping images and those flashing things that we do, how that's going to affect them, how they're going to be able to read that content. So nowadays, when I'm preparing my slides on PowerPoint, I actually prepare them ahead of time. When I'm preparing them, I already make them accessible from the get-go. So it's not a matter that I need to go back later to do it. I already do it as I'm preparing the slides.
Great. Would you describe any changes you've had to make to develop accessible material? Would you describe any of those changes as hard to do?
Now, none of the changes that I made since going through the program I would describe as being hard to do. Many of them are simple little tricks or simple little heads up of things that you're supposed to do that you just never really thought about. So the tools and the tricks that you learn are actually pretty simple to incorporate, which is actually, in a way, scary to say because those are things that we could be doing for the longest time. I just never knew.
Excellent. Thank you.
I am good at sound bites. I
Yes,
am.
you are. I've got about 10 other things I need you to talk about today. Last one here, but then we'll have if you want to talk about anything else.
Go for
that's
it.
right. Do you feel empowered now that you've gone through this program in developing your content to be accessible?
That's a very interesting question. I don't know how to answer that because I don't want to feel, I don't want to sound full of myself. I don't know if empowered is the word that I would use. Probably I'd say that I feel wiser and I feel like a better professor for being able to do those things that I never actually knew before that I should be doing. Doing those things that are going to make my class more accessible and better and more friendly to students who need that accessibility, of things that in a weird way I'm kind of ashamed to say that I never actually thought about or knew how to do until I went to this program. So yeah, the word empowered implies a little bit of like, I feel great about myself, and I don't know if I would go into that.
Okay, that's good, and that's a good note, and I'm happy we're doing him first.
Oh, I didn't realize that I'm the first one.
We've had a few people have pushed back just because of schedules, but you,
I would never do that to you.
and you did, and I very much appreciate it. Is there anything else about the program or anything you'd want to talk about?
I think one thing that I can mention about the program is that the way that it was put together and the way that I went through it, it's actually not that demanding, it's not that crazy. It's something that faculty can easily do that, yes, it was quite a bit of work because you need to adapt your courses. You need to make sure your courses are accessible. But it wasn't that challenging amount of work that just made my semester horrible. I went through the program, I did all the work that was requested from me, and it didn't interfere with all the rest of the work that I needed to do. So I was actually very, not only happy that I went through the program, but it was fairly smooth in terms of workload.
Soundbite machine.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.